already shown, man. It's Deion Dawkins, and you listening to the Real Deal Sports Show on the Beat 105.5.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another Saturday morning Real Deal Sports Show with the Rad Man, coming to you live from the Rock Palm Brokers studio each and every Saturday morning. I want to thank all you viewers that have been listening to the show, viewing the show on Facebook, YouTube. You're making us one of the top shows in the marketplace. Our ratings continue to go up, up, up. Thank you so much. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube and Facebook at Real Deal Sports Show. Hit the bell icon for notifications. Keep us rolling, and moving forward, everybody. And J-GILLZ, welcome back. I'm glad you're back after a quick siesta a week ago, but I'm glad you're on vacation last week, but I'm glad you're back on Real Deal Sports Show. How you doing this morning?
Always happy to be here on the Real Deal Sports Show. You already know, Rad, man, there's so much to get into, so many sports to talk about. And yeah, I had to come back. NBA playoffs. We got the NFL season about to start kicking off, training camps. So, I had to come back for a special time like this.
Absolutely. And the Bills coming back to St. John Fisher College. Can you believe it? Another year, almost 25 years in a row. They'll be out there, and me and yourself will be out there covering the Buffalo Bills. We ain't talking about what we heard, everybody. We talking about what we know. And we're going to give you the cold, hard facts of the Buffalo Bills 2025 season coming up at St. John Fisher training camp, and seeing who's, as I always do, always pick my diamonds in the rough. You'll read that in my articles in Challenger Community News, as well as hearing them right here on Real Deal Sports Show. I've been a sports writer for over 27 years with Challenger Community News. Thank you so much for all the years. Hockey Inc. out of Flint, Michigan, used to cover the NHL and AHL for Hockey Inc. Hey, shout out to the Amherst. They tied the series up last night. I was at the game Wednesday night. They fought hard, lost a tough one on Wednesday, and won a tough game last night. Those French-Canadian boys can always skate. They always come hard to the net. But Rochester Amherst was able to cut it off and give Levi some more support defensively, and the Amherst was able to pull out the win last night. One game apiece now. Rochester American Amherst versus the Laval Rockets in the American Hockey League Eastern Division Finals. One game apiece. So, hey, it's a lot going on. And I know you were there. Were you there with, my man Lenny Krevin's back from New Orleans. I see he was in the front row last night with Tracy Morgan and his whole crew. Looked like they all hang out together, J-GILLZ. It was a star-studded night at the Garden last night. What went down?
Oh, it was a huge night, huge Game 6, Knicks in 6, right there at the Garden, and it's going to get even bigger, right, man? Now that the New York Knicks are in the Eastern Conference Championships going up against their rivals, the Indiana Pacers, man, we got a lot to expect when we talk about star-studded nights. And, man, but the Knicks, the way they was wilding and carrying on last night, you would have thought they won the finals, man. You would have thought they won the finals.
Was the series? You mean the wait a minute, the NBA season didn't end last night, J-GILLZ? I thought that was the end of the season. It looked like they had their ticker tape parade right after the game, right there on the main boulevard, right outside Madison Square Garden.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly how it was looking. But you know what? Well-deserved, because, man, the Knicks have been, a terrible franchise, man. A terrible franchise leading up to this point. You add the right pieces in. You got a Jalen Brunson. You got those right pieces in the front office. Man, shout out to the Knicks fans. This is well-deserved. But this is I've been hearing, man, I really, truly think that, this is the time to get it done. This is the time as a Knicks fan to get it done. I think this is the best roster you're going to have. I think that you'll definitely have a chance to try and pull one out this NBA season.
I think you're right. And the trade, it's interesting. The Mikal Bridges trade really helped for not the trade, but the free agency signing him, but getting Karl Anthony Towns. And then also Randall going to Minnesota. To me, that trade seemed like to be an even trade that it benefit both teams. And both teams are excelling. The Minnesota Timberwolves are waiting on their next opponent in the Western Conference Finals. They're waiting on either Denver or Oklahoma City. But I thought Randall, everywhere he goes, he seems to play well, J-GILLZ. What about that, Randall?
Man, we already know, man. He's the product from Kentucky. You know how them big men get down from Kentucky, whether it's the DeMarcus Cousins, whether it's Karl Anthony Towns, whether it's my man Anthony Davis. You know, Julius Randle's always been great. That's why I loved it when we drafted him from the Lakers. But in this playoff specifically, in this postseason, averaging 25 and 10, dominating like he's been dominating, man, I feel like this is the type of player that Anthony Edwards needed to truly get this team back to where they needed to be. Karl Anthony Towns, we all know he's a 7-foot great finesse. He calls himself the best shooting big man. Nah, Julius Randle, he gonna get you in the paint. He gonna get the ball to the hole. He gonna do what he needs to do, and that's what he's been doing this postseason. So when you talk about the trade, man, you're absolutely right. It's been a phenomenal trade that worked out for both teams, and these teams might be seeing each other in the finals.
They just might. That could be. Boy, New York will really be off the chain there, J-GILLZ. And hey, first I want to mention our average before we bring our first guest on. Image Printers Marketing and Publishing Corporation has a new location, 37 Richmond Street. The entrance is in the rear, so parking at the door, closer to downtown, ground level access. Call 585-360-0132. That's Image Printer Marketing and Publishing Company. Give them a call. Image Printer. The entrance is in the rear. Parking at the door, closer to downtown. I can park right at the door and go right in and pick up my business cards or banners or flyers from Manuel. Manuel Floyd, been in business for many years, a known fixture here in the Rochester community. Check this brother out, area code 585-360-0132. And he does have internet and all that, and be able to have deliveries outside of the Rochester area if need be, outside the area if need be. And I see we have a quick guest coming in quickly here. Coach Moody, Coach Eddie Moody from Vertus High School is back once again with some late breaking news. Coach Moody, welcome back to Real Deal Sports Show. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, George. Good morning, crew. How are you, Rochester, doing this morning?
Doing great this morning. And can you tell us about what was that awards that the Iglesias received recently?
Well, I'm a board member of the New York State High School Football Coaches Association. And I sit on this board of gentlemen across this state, and we represent the high school football coaches. And we entertain all football-related stuff and business through the New York State Public High School Associations of Athletics. And we have a quarter of the year meetings, and we got one coming up soon in the beginning of June. And we always have a tailored agenda about what we're going to do in July, because we have a 7-on-7 that we are hosting at University of Cortland, and we do it annually during the month of July for the girls of the state flag football, and we do it for all of our boys regular football for them, and we do the lineman challenge. And the United States Army military also sponsors about 60% of that. And the NFL sponsors probably the remainder of it, especially for the Girls' Day, because the National Football League is really following up financing for all girls flag football across this great nation. And the ownerships and the management teams are really 100% in on girls doing football and getting involved in football. And so we're looking forward to that weekend. It's going to be the weekend of the 11th and the 12th of July.
Wow. And where's that going to be?
Cortland University at Cortland. So we host it. Yeah, it's a middle of the area for the state, because we get guys and girls coming with their staff, and they come all the way from probably the eastern part of Long Island. We get schools around the New York City boroughs of Queens and Brooklyn, those schools. We get them far out past Albany, and I mean the different sections across the whole state, even far out past Buffalo, to come to that. And we get most of the top tournament state teams that show up, as far as the ones that make the state championship.
Wow. And I must say, girls flag football is taken away from girls softball. We lost a lot of softball players. I can see a lot of teams don't even have JV teams. They only have varsity teams this year. And all of them are saying the same thing, that the girls have gravitated to the flag football. And my suggestion, Coach Eddie Moody, how about moving the football to football season in the fall? Get those girls playing in August through October, with the championship being in October, so that we can save our softball and have some of those girls be able to get back into softball and build these teams back up. Because there's a lot of teams that have lost a lot of players. Even the Pittsburgh Menden,
Really?
Greece only has one team. With all those girls out there in Greece, how in the world could Greece have only one varsity girls softball team representing all three or four of those Greece schools? It doesn't make sense whatsoever, Coach Moody. Can you see if they might be able to move it to the fall?
Well, I can see if I can do some producing because I'm on the Section 5 football committee. And I can talk to the powers to be, Kathy Hoyt. She's overseeing the Section 5. And Jen Jerzik, she's head of the girls flag football. And she's the state committee member, too. So they all work in this region in Newark, New York. Maybe we can suggest the fall for the girls and see how that would be an undertaking. But then they'll probably come up with some other issue that soccer is becoming an issue. And I think what happens between me and you in the next fence post, there's a lot more kids that I noticed in high school and junior high in the last 5 years that are gravitating to more family travel sports of all levels, of all different types. These kids seem like they say they get more opportunities to play. I think it's more of not to get to the college levels, but they want to get the more time to play those sports. And I think families every weekend, such as this weekend, these families in particular are traveling from our state to Pennsylvania, Ohio, Virginia, even down south into the southern states every weekend to take their kids to these travel things and travel sports. Even I didn't realize here locally, I just realized 3 weeks ago, I'm watching some localized youth football teams. They got spring football. I've been in football for almost 38 years, and I'd never seen spring youth football. But they were having a game at the old Jefferson High School over there from Dewey Avenue. And I'm saying, what's going on? I got the referees out there, the whole nine, and end up going over, talking to a few families. And they said, yeah, this is spring football. We've been involved for a month doing this stuff, and they got another 2 weeks. So I'm saying, wow, I didn't realize they were doing it. And they got a travel youth flag football league that they end up traveling with these kids all over the country. So it's so much more sports, but we don't have enough kids totally to be involved in all these sports.
Wow, that's amazing.
So it's gonna hurt like the softballs and stuff, because really I think the physical education is the issue. You got to have kids in physical education in these high schools and junior high and all the way down to elementary, such as you mentioned about softball. Softball should be a main key component in a kid's upbringing through elementary all the way up through high school in physical education. That's how I noticed kids gravitate to a sport, even like that. And when I played myself, I played softball. I did all that stuff, but I learned it all through school, not just. Right. But there's not a lot of physical education being taught with these sports, and that physical education element has gone to the wayside. Now the kids aren't interested because now they're gravitating to something else that they're seeing on social media. And that's why I think the other sports are growing the way they are, because kids now gravitate to everything they see on social media, and everybody wants to get so many thousand to million people likes and also be entertained all the time.
Wow. You're absolutely right. And I want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
I did have a quick question.
Oh, go ahead, J-GILLZ.
So happy to have you on the Real Deal Sports Show, talking sports of all sorts. Being that you are on the board, just talk to me about the growth of, the Section 5 football, especially in the city of Rochester. You've always had the dominant teams like the East, but just like teams like Monroe now, having great programs. Tell me about the growth, how the city of Rochester is really just encapsulating the youth and doing what is. What have you seen in your 38 years? How great has this growth been?
Well, it's tremendous that you asked this question. That was a great question. I've been around a long time in this Section 5, and like I mentioned to a gentleman yesterday, we were having discussions about the HBCU game coming up. Now, in Section 5 football, head coaches, back when I first started this, if there was 5, maybe 3 head black minority football coaches. And Trent Jackson, if you guys recall that name, was one of the first in our community.
Yes.
Yeah, Trent Jackson. There wasn't too many minority coaches. So now you got more head coaches being the minority coach and being picked as the coach outside of the building that don't even work at the school or work for the school districts. So that's an opportunity that I noticed. Then they got connections with other groups that are doing youth level sports, like I mentioned to George earlier. I think the kids that gravitate to those youth level sports are combining as a pipeline to these certain schools in the city of Rochester, like Monroe's. Like they got CTC. Greg Hopkins, he also played for me years ago in semi-pro ball, and he's had his program. I also worked for him a long time ago when he first started that program up, and to see the success. I also worked for Monroe for a while as a coach. When they were back at Marshall High School, I was at Marshall years ago with Coach Jason Muhammad, and that's our and Coach Cunningham. And I remembered him playing at Marshall as a football player, as a student athlete. Now he's the head coach at Monroe, excuse me. So this is the development that I saw in reaching our community, getting the better kids. The athletes are coming together, staying together. Like if you lived out in the suburbs in Fairport or Child Eyes or these places like Brighton. Brighton's got a good program. Those kids grow up together and they grow up playing together. They grow up hanging out together, singing together, doing other things outside of just say it's football. They go do movies nights. So they built a relationship. In the city, you got so many different programs, so many different schools. And the kids go, well, I live on the west side. Okay, well, I live on the east side. Or I live over here by Kodak Park or something. So those kids go to various different schools when they're from the youth levels, and they don't grow up like those suburban kids. And that's the combination of success when you have them start young and moving through a pipeline system. And I think that's one of the things that I see that's warranted for our city schools in football. They're getting better because they're bringing them together earlier. And I think they're pipelining these programs as CTC, and those other ones also are getting involved.
Absolutely. Coach Moody, always a pleasure having you on the show. We're going to have you on once a month. We look forward to having you on next month, definitely with this excellent knowledge. And you also, HBCU, what's that, Saturday, September 27th? You're going to be involved in that?
Yep, absolutely. It's going to kick off at 1:00, and we're going to start talking and marketing that, because just from my conversation yesterday with the leader of running that show, and he's the guy that's the promoter. He's been in this town. He's from this community. His family's from this community. He deals with all the summer music fest. He's the one that puts that on for the city of Rochester and the mayor's office. So I think they decided to ask him to do this project because they've seen him do the other work. So I guess that's the route that they're going to go in for this year. And I think there's a contract with this year and next year already in writing that they're going to do these HBCU games every September. So Lane College will be going against Central State for this coming season, and the bands are coming in. They're going to do a press release on the day before, on the 26th at the stadium. So everything's going to be done at the stadium, the press release and all of that, and the band's practices and the football team's pregame practices.
Excellent, as always. Lane College, we had Derek Burrows on a few weeks ago on the show, the former head coach, but athletic director at Lane College, and former Buffalo Bill number one draft pick cornerback for the Buffalo Bill. Derek Burrows was on a few weeks ago. So we're looking forward to having you back on next month. And also we're building up the HBCU, second annual HBCU football classic, Central State versus Lane College here on Saturday, September 27th. Looking forward to it. Have yourself a great day, Coach. And thanks for coming on this on Real Deal Sports Show.
Absolutely. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a beautiful weekend. Thank you.
All right. And now we're ready to heading to, looks like J-GILLZ, we're ready to head to Cleveland, Ohio. I believe we're heading next.
Oh, that's going to be a good one.
Let's see. I'm looking for him on the list here. Let's see.
It's a lot we got to talk about, a lot we got to unpack with those Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yes. And here he is. Will knows it all. Will I Know podcast. Willie Gibson, welcome back to Real Deal Sports Show. How you doing this morning?
Gentlemen, good morning. I'm ready.
You ready for the hot seat? You ready for the hot seat? Because, man,
Indeed.
Who would have thought after a phenomenal first-round sweep, just knocking out that squad, then you go and match up with the Indiana Pacers, and they get the Cleveland Cavaliers out in 5 games. I don't think anybody saw that coming. No. Talk to us. What happened?
It's what you just said, J-GILLZ. It's a matchup. I mean, playoffs comes down to matchups. And, as great of a regular season the Cavs had, 64 wins, number one seed in the East, best record in the East, second best record overall in the league. They just ran into a bad matchup. The physicality of Indiana, and credit Rick Carlisle. It's not, I mean, yeah, I can tell you, the Cavs, this or that, but Indiana's been there before. They were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Rick Carlisle knows what it takes to get to this next level, and they just, they took it to the Cavs on the physical level from game one, and the Cavs really couldn't recover from that. Going forward, had a chance in game two. Even the win in game three, you saw how Indiana responded in game four and blew them off the court. So I think it was just a bad matchup for the Cavaliers, and credit to Rick Carlisle and his staff.
Yes, indeed. J-GILLZ, I know you got some more questions there.
I just because like you said, 64 wins. We saw the dominance in the coming out of Darius Garland this season. We didn't quite see that, transcend into the playoffs as we expected, especially against that matchup with Tyrese Halliburton. We saw the bigs dominate as well, but lack that physicality, like you said, with the size. Do you think that this Cleveland Cavaliers team can come back next season as presently constructed and with the knowledge that they had from this bad exit, be a better team? Or do you think there has to be some sort of roster construction to get this number one team in the East now? Yep. And especially it's even worse now that we see what happened with Boston. The chance that Cleveland had to really try and make it to the finals now that, the reigning champions got it. But do you see anything that they can do roster-wise, or do you think this roster can still get it done?
It's going to have to get it done because there's not a lot they can do with this roster. They're at the second apron right now, and then not to bore your listeners and viewers with the minutia of the CBA, but they can't do a lot. I mean, they right now are $5 million over the second apron. Next year's salary cap is $154.6 million. They already have $235 million in salary allocated next year. So, they can't do a lot. I mean, for example, Ty Jerome is a free agent. With the rules of the CBA, they can't sign him to a one-year deal. It has to be a multi-year deal. He's eligible for 4 years, $64 million. So starting salary at $14 million, that cost the Cavs $80 million in luxury tax for that one player. So you're pretty much going to see this same team run it back next year. I would like to see some end of bench, not even end of bench guys, but some margins improved. I mentioned the physicality. Again, with the rules of the CBA, they can't combine salaries and trades. So, it's a one player for one player trade. So, for example, look at Isaac Okoro. He's making about $11 million. If you look at a trade for him, someone like a Royce O'Neal in Phoenix, Jonas Valanciunas in Sacramento, both areas of need for the Cavs. Valanciunas, a center, physicality. Royce O'Neal, small forward, physical. Doesn't hurt that he has a relationship from Utah with Donovan Mitchell. So I'm not reporting any of those things, just giving examples. But so those are the type of moves that you're going to see the Cavs are going to have to make, because there's no, you hear, trade for Giannis. They're not in that game at all, because their salary cap just won't allow it.
Man, I know the hypotheticals right now. I know if it could happen, y'all would love it, man. Who wouldn't want LeBron James back in Cleveland? That's the one.
I was saving that. Come on, man. I was saving that.
I should have saved that for you. My bad. J-GILLZ, y'all know I'd like to jump the gun just a little bit.
I've always said LeBron's gonna finish his career in Cleveland. He has a player option.
Come on.
$54 million. So it'll take him coming back home at the vet minimum. But year 23 for number 23 at the house, stop it. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
I'll do one better for you.
Yeah.
Don't let the Cleveland Cavaliers get one of them picks in the next coming season and get Bryce over there in Cleveland. Then he on the way.
Oh, without question. The only way, I just got to figure out how to get Bronny there this year, because that Cleveland, LeBron to Cleveland at the vet minimum, that's doable. It's just Bronny has at least another year on this deal with the Lakers. So how does that happen? But yeah, Bryce, absolutely, without question.
Wow, you think LeBron can hold up a few more years, gentlemen?
I mean, he's in year 22 and he's averaging 25 and 9. Well, put it like this: year 22, he averaged 24.6, and it was the first year since year 2 he didn't average 25. So I'm pretty confident he can hold up.
Wow, that is amazing that somebody over 40 years of age is still producing at that high level.
Yep,
absolutely. One question for you: how is Shedeur Sanders being received there in Cleveland by the Browns fans? How is he being received so far?
I'm glad you gave me that caveat. By the fans, great, they love him. My colleagues,
wow.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, what's the problem?
Oh, you know what it is, but yeah. They the most I'll say interesting comment I heard was this guy is bringing the circus. He's bringing all these cameras. We work in the media. Cameras are what we do. So to say that this guy is bringing all these cameras kind of lets you know.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. But as we switch gears to the NFL and to the Cleveland Browns, do you, while you're in Cleveland, is the fan base? I mean, how upset were they once they did draft Shedeur in the 5th round, knowing that they traded the pick number 2 to Jacksonville, traded back to 5? You get a guy like Mason Graham, excellent player, very physical as a Dolphins fan, and we got Kenneth Grant. So trust me, I know how dominant that defensive tackle is out in Michigan. But if you're going to get Shedeur in the 5th and you had a number 2 pick, the pairing of Travis and Shedeur, I mean, come on. That would have been great for any franchise. And for Cleveland to just give up on that, how are the fans responding to that?
Yeah, the fans are definitely, they would have loved to have Travis here, but this team is about filling holes. And yes, Travis is great as great of a player as Travis is and will be in Jacksonville. I mean, this team needs to rebuild. And those picks, you gotta think about it. They traded down from 2 to 5. So they drafted Mason Graham at 5. They also, in the second round pick they got, they drafted Quinshon Judkins from Ohio State at running back, which this team truly needed a running back. And they have the first round pick in 26 from Jacksonville. So those picks, they also used the 6th round pick that they had as a part of that deal to trade up to get Shedeur in the 5th round. So yeah, the one player, Travis, Heisman Trophy winner, dual threat without question. But this team, they needed to fill a number of holes, and they went about the business of doing that.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, absolutely. Do you think the owner jumped in and said pick Shedeur? Was that the owner making another decision like he did for the Deshaun Watson deal? Was that strictly the owner saying, "Hey man, I want this kid. This kid can play. There's no reason why he's not picked already." Or the league, or I'm speculating the league made a phone call. "Hey man, Cleveland, this is a team." He said he didn't. His father said he didn't want. Deion Sanders said he didn't want him to go to this team. You make sure you pick him in the 5th round. Do you think that kind of one of those scenarios played out?
Well, let me address the last thing first. Deion never said he didn't want him in Cleveland. Deion and AB, General Manager Andrew Berry, they have a pretty cordial relationship. So I don't think it was a problem ever with Shedeur coming to Cleveland. Do I think that the owner stepped in and made the call? Depends on who you believe, possibly. But what I will say is, I think the value Shedeur was, as you said, in most mock drafts, the 2nd player going in the draft. So to get him in the 5th round, I think what they saw is that player still on the board, and at that value at the 5th round, you have to take him. I also heard some things where Philadelphia was prepared to draft him in the 6th round. So that's why Cleveland moved up to take him in the 5th round. So, I mean, you hear a lot, but at the end of the day, it's great for us to talk about, but he's picked now. He's in camp. He's in the facility. He's in the building every day. And let's let the chips fall where they may.
And you're there every day as well. You're watching, you're seeing. What's your take? What's his chances of starting for the Cleveland Browns this year?
25%. I know it's 4 quarterbacks. I'm just
I like
being,
that. I like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, ultimately, initially, I thought the best scenario would be for him not to play at all this year. But seeing how Cleveland is, Kenny Pickett's going to get first right of refusal. He's going to get every chance to start. From there, Joe Flacco is the vet mentor on this team this year to mentor the young guys. But I can see a scenario that, after the bye, perhaps you see Shador, and after the bye, it's at the Steelers. So we'll see. We'll see.
Why did they pick the kid from Oregon in the 4th round? That was a head scratching move to me. Why would you pick him?
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel at 94. They liked him. He's a good quarterback. His numbers speak for themselves. So they liked him. They came back to pick Shador in the 5th round. Honestly, they never thought he would still be there. And so the fact that he was still there, you gotta, at that point, teams always talk about BPA, best player available. So at 144, if you saw him in the 5th round, you gotta go get him. But they liked Dylan Gabriel. They really, really did. So, and they still do.
So it's gonna be interesting to see, because now you got a lot of trade opportunities too. As training camp goes in, you could trade some of these guys.
Yep. Again, Kenny Pickett probably will be the first to be looked at as a trade. He's the vet. He has the last year of his deal. He's a free agent at the end of the season. If he doesn't, do what they feel he should be doing, they can recoup that 5th round pick that they traded to get him in the building to begin with. So, we'll see.
Yes, indeed. So he comes over from I believe he was with the Eagles there at the from last season. So he leaves. The Eagles don't keep him. They send him on packing. I like how the Eagles they cleaned it. They just keep moving. They keep adding players and sending guys out at the right time. But they get the good trade value. And Cleveland looked like they got some good trade value with it. Anything else happening there in Cleveland sports or even at Ohio State?
No, pretty much, OTAs are still ongoing for the Browns. The Guardians, they're in 2nd place in the AL Central. We'll see how that goes. Still a long, long way to go in the baseball season. The Cavs now, it's just, allow this loss to fuel them in the summer and see what they come back with in the fall. So that's pretty much it right now. And Ohio State, Ohio State just summer workouts, getting ready August 30th, season opener at home versus Texas. So we'll see Arch Manning's not his first start. He started a few games last year when Ewers was injured. But, we'll see, how Ohio State goes, and we'll go from there.
How can Arch Manning, it cracks me up that they say, next year's draft will be there. Every time, whenever there's black quarterbacks at the top of the quarterback drafting poll, next season will be a better draft for quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell can that be when Arch Manning couldn't even start over the cat that got drafted? What's it? Quinn, thank you.
Yeah.
He got drafted in the 7th round. It's like he was one of the last draft picks to be drafted.
All I'll say is this.
Come on, man.
As far as Arch Manning, I don't think it's an automatic that he declares for the draft next year. I mean, he's NIL is a game changer. He's making $6 million in college.
Wow.
So what is the urgency to declare for the draft after 1 year as a starter? And his last name is Manning.
Yeah.
His uncles are Hall of Famers. His grandfather is a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
What's the rush? I mean, you got New Orleans. I mean, Archie Manning. I mean, what's the rush?
None.
Yeah. $6 million in college, man. These kids don't have to go to pro.
Reportedly. Let me throw that out there. Reportedly.
Thank you. Gonna get them.
That's right. Well, Willie Gibson, that's why we have you on the show, giving us the updates. You following the Cleveland sports scene. Let people follow up with you. We look forward to having you back during training camp season. Let us know some updates with the Cleveland Browns.
And you got the Browns. We'll be at Cleveland. Schedule release. We'll definitely be at that game later on in the season. And we'll have you on the show then too.
Look forward to it. Thank you as always.
Absolutely.
Have a great week.
You as well.
All right, we go from Cleveland, Ohio, down to Charlotte, North Carolina. That's what I tell you on Real Deal Sports Show. We keep it moving. We keep you getting sports of all sorts. We ain't talking about what we heard. We talking about what we know. We go to the people that know what's going down. PGA Championship. Me and J-GILLZ had the pleasure of attending it here in Rochester 2 years ago at Oak Hill Country Club. Well, we got Michael Mayo covering it down in Charlotte, North Carolina. Michael Mayo, welcome to Real Deal Sports Show. How you doing this morning?
Thank you, Rad Man, and it's a pleasure to be on the Real Deal Show. I'm looking for Holyfield somewhere in one of these boxes, but I got the Rad Man in the crew, and I'm just so happy to be here with you, brothers. Yes, you are correct. I have been at the PGA tournament here in Charlotte, North Carolina, but I'm originally from right down the 90, going west, Buffalo, New York native here. And I just want to shout out to all of my Western New Yorkers and whoever is a golf fan. Although, you know, Tiger's not in the mix anymore, the enthusiasm for golf has maybe waned somewhat. But we have a Venezuelan at the top of the leaderboard, Jonathan Vegas, who you may have heard of, maybe you haven't, but he is currently sitting atop the leaderboard after 2 rounds of golf at -8. Leaving him 2 strokes ahead of the next contestant. And this is despite a double bogey on 18 yesterday. The tournament, I've spent the last 4 days at the tournament. I'm not going to go today, and I'm kind of happy about that because currently play has been suspended because of rain, which on Monday, there was a deluge on Monday. I was soaked, because, I was out there for the practice rounds. And it was just unpleasant and miserable, quite frankly. There was, and then at 1:30, I mean, they just shut it down. They didn't allow spectators in at all. And then on Tuesday, there was an hour and a half delay because of rain. So it has been marred by wetness, and that continues today. So that could probably mean that the tournament tomorrow will maybe go into the later hours and maybe even have to extend till Monday. Jonathan Vegas, he's an interesting story. I mean, grew up in Venezuela, started playing golf with sticks and rocks,
Wow.
I'm hoping that he can hold off his pursuers because you've got some notables chasing him. With Tiger's absence, who's replaced Tiger's popularity has been Bryson DeChambeau, Rory McIlroy, who just made the cut at +1. He just barely got in the thing. Bryson DeChambeau is 5 off the lead at -3, and he's always somebody that you have to watch out for.
With the weather conditions being so bad, me and J-GILLZ was out there on a Saturday 2 years ago, and it poured almost all day long. And
it would be a staple for the PGA.
Yeah, you're right. And then you've got players crying about, some of the objective rules about when you play under those conditions and you get mud on your ball. They want to be able to have a more favorable lie for you golf fans listening and watching. You can probably relate to that. If you get mud on the ball, it makes the ball do some crazy things. And so these pros are so used to having pristine conditions that, Scotty Scheffler was known as being, kind of salty about not having favorable lies. And I tell you, Rory McIlroy's fellow countryman from Northern Ireland got ballistic after he wasn't granted a more favorable lie, and he actually stormed off the hole, and he didn't make the cut. But I mean, he characteristically, as anybody who's watched Full Swing, the series on Netflix, they see his relationship with his fellow countryman Rory McIlroy, and they see how fiery he is, and he definitely displayed that yesterday at Quail Hollow when he gave a gesture to the ball, and it just wasn't a good look. Wasn't a good look. So he missed the cut. So he won't be around for the weekend.
J-GILLZ, any questions?
Yeah, just see there Tony Fanu at a -3. top 10 right now. What do you think his chances are of finally getting over the hump and getting this PGA?
Finau he's an interesting guy. He's a pretty solid player. He's always somebody that you have to watch out for. In my estimation, Scotty Scheffler is so sneaky. Like, he's right there, and I would probably, if I bet, Scotty is only 3 shots off the lead.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably suggest that he's more of a threat to Vegas than Finau. But I would hope that Finau could put it together for the weekend. That would be my ideal finish. But if I got to go with what history has shown, what the current recent history has shown, and that is Scotty's ability to close a deal, man. Yeah.
Wow. So with the weather and the conditions being so rough out there, what's the divide? Are the balls just sitting, or are they getting a roll on the like you mentioned, the number one hole? That number one hole seems to be the toughest hole on the course this year.
Well,
for this PGA Championship.
Interestingly, Red man, the number one hole is actually 17 handicap, which means that it's the second easiest hole. But from my vantage point, I've been posted up on that first fairway of number one. It requires a cut shot, which is a shot that goes left to right to put you in the prime position to approach the green. And I watched those pros hit it to about the 200-yard mark away from the green. And I'm looking at it as a difficult hole for a duffer, a recreational player like myself. But the pros see it as it's a par 4 for the pros. It's a par 5 for the members at Quail Hollow. The balls, like you mentioned, Rad man, with the wet conditions, the ball is not rolling. But I'm seeing these pros hit it over 300 yards on that hole. Have a 200-yard approach shot. That hole, it's nothing compared to what they call the Green Mile at Quail Hollow, which is often compared to Amen Corner at Augusta. But the Green Mile may be the determinant of the winner over the weekend, because it can eat you up 16, 17, and 18. Right. Yeah.
So that's the key holes to watch. So when you're watching the 16, 17, 18, that's where you can see the separate the men from the boys out there.
You got it. Yeah.
Did you get a chance to play Oak Hill Country Club when you were up here in the Buffalo, Rochester area?
Never had the pleasure. Mm-mm. No.
Okay, 'cause that course was very very difficult, and just looking on TV, it kind of looks a little similar to how Oak Hill used to look when it had all the trees out there.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, due to ice storm and things happening, they lost a lot of trees out there at Oak Hill through the year.
They almost lost a tree here at Quail Hollow on was that Wednesday? I was out there, and a massive lightning strike hit a tree adjacent to the 13th green, and you can still see the results of that lightning strike. So the weather has been it's been very brutal.
So you think the leader, he got a good chance to hold on and win?
I hope so, George. But again, when you have somebody like Scotty Scheffler in pursuit, and then Bryson DeChambeau is also somebody that has garnered a great deal of support, fan support. He's got a tremendous social media following, and once he changed his appearance and got into kind of some extreme practices, people like to follow him, and but he's right there. He's in the mix. So, and he's a long ball hitter. So I give him a boxer's chance along with Scotty Scheffler. and I hope Tony Finau can make some noise.
Absolutely. And last but not least, you're a big NBA fan. Who you think taking the NBA championship? You think the Knicks look like they already won it last night or what?
The Knicks are, like you said earlier, the Knicks are acting like they just won the NBA championship. And you know what? OKC has got something to say about that. I think OKC has something to say about that.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Michael Mayo, thank you so much for the updates. Stay dry out there. Tomorrow, hopefully it'll be nice weather there in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, because I think that rain is coming up this way toward the Rochester area, out of North Carolina, out of that Charlotte area. Enjoy the PGA championship. And as me and J-GILLZ say, hey, stay out some of those tents, man. You got to pop in some of those corporate tents while you're out there too, man. We had a chance, me and J-GILLZ had a chance to stop in some of those. Man. Right. Meet some interesting people, right, J-GILLZ? Right out there. So
absolutely, man. That RG tent. Let me not say no names.
Please don't, man. But Johnny Walker Red was walking all over the place in that tent, man. I can say that, man. Mr. Johnny Walker was the king, was headlining that show in that one for sure. So enjoy Michael Mayo, our PGA analyst. We're gonna have you back on again real soon. Thank you so much for coming on Real Deal Sports Show.
I appreciate it, Rad man. You all have a great day and a wonderful weekend.
Oh, you too. Take care.
Thank you.
Enjoy the golfing.
Thank you.
And all right. Our next segment coming up, Advantage Federal Credit Union, AdvantageFederalFCU.org for your auto loans. 4.99% they starting at. Hey, you better get it at 4.99% because it looks like it might be going up. I don't think it's going down anytime soon. Visa cards, student checking accounts, and much, much more. Our friends at Advantage Federal Credit Union. Check them out. And make sure you check out what they have to offer there at the Advantage Federal Credit Union. And, of course, the award-winning Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency. Auto, home, health, and life insurance. Hey, it's getting warm and hot. You get your toys out of the garage or out of those shelters. Your boats, motorcycles. Hey, Miriam said, hey, if you get your toys coming out, come on over and check her out. She got a great rate on insuring motorcycles, boats, RVs as well. Camping season coming. I see some of the camps already are filling up. So if you got your RV or brand new RV or thinking of getting one, check out the award-winning Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency. She got the money that it can help you save you. If she saved the Radney family a hell of a lot of money, I guarantee she saved you and your family some money too. 1038 Lyle Avenue or 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Give her a call, 585-360-0094.
Convenient location. Can't beat it.
You can't beat it. J-GILLZ, can you introduce our next guest?
Oh, man, absolutely. We got another NBA insider coming out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Man, we got RABJ member and friend of the show, Mr. Dylan Bruton, in the building.
Appreciate the introduction, and it's been great to be here. Hearing all this great sports knowledge and perspectives is awesome. I love talking ball, so I'm glad to be up here with y'all. Much love.
Absolutely. We got two big games coming up this weekend, starting with the WNBA opener with Caitlin Clark and, of course, Angel Reese in that showdown today on ABC at 3:30. Man, Dylan, talk to us about WNBA and what's your expectations for this game?
Well, both of them didn't really, in their first game, really go off. Angel Reese had about 10 points. Obviously, she was able to make an impact on the glass as always. Caitlin had a stat line of like 13, 6, and 5. Neither of them, neither of them produced at the level and quality that they're capable of. But we all know that, dating back to that national championship with LSU versus Iowa, there is a rivalry there, but there's also a mutual respect for each other's game. I think that this game, obviously, there's going to be all the hype and hoopla about them, but I don't even see them really guarding each other because, they occupy two different positions. You know what I'm saying? Angel Reese is a big, Caitlin is a guard, but I do believe that with what is at stake as far as with bragging rights and with both teams, the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever, wanting to cement themselves as potential contenders coming out I think that it's going to be a big game. There's going to be a lot of fireworks. And again, that hype and hoopla, you just can't beat it when you have those two going up against each other.
What about that big trade that sent Kelsey Plum from the champion Aces, Las Vegas Aces, to the Sparks? Man, that girl was going off last night up and go. I forgot Golden State has a team now. Man,
yeah,
she introduced herself to that Golden State crowd last night. Boy, she put on a show last night.
That was a crazy trade. I mean, anytime you're able to get a player like a Kelsey Plum in her prime and be able to kind of just plug and play, you're blessed. You know, they already have a good team around them, and they're looking at her as the winning piece to take them back to, you know, the glory days. I mean, I remember growing up, the Lisa Leslie, Cynthia, not Cynthia Cooper, sorry, Tina Thompson days with the Sparks growing up. So they're trying to recapture that momentum, or even go back to the Candace Parker days of like the later 2000s. So I think that was a plus move by their front office. And I think Kelsey Plum still, you know, there were people that I was seeing saying, oh, you know, with some of her injury concerns, it's not worth the risk. But it's like, again, a player of her caliber, we saw what she did in college, and we saw how she came out the gate swinging when she got into the WNBA. You take that risk every time. That's not a risk. That's a high reward right there. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to make sure everything else is copacetic in your team buildup.
Yeah, and I like Rickea Jackson too. I remember her at Tennessee. She was a dominant player at the University of Tennessee, and she was showing out last night too for the LA Sparks in that game against the Golden State Valkyries, I think their name is. But very good game, very well played. Rickea Jackson, you think the Sparks are going to be one of those dominant teams this season?
Oh, without a doubt. And I think Rickea, she's got everything it takes to be a household name. You know what I'm saying? She's just got that swagger. She's got that confidence, and she plays very fundamentally sound on both ends, you know. And, you know, when we look at the NBA, usually the best players are the ones that play both ways. You know what I'm saying? Play great on offense and great on defense. And she is, you know, she fits that bill within the WNBA. And she also came out the gate swinging from her rookie year last year. And it's just all about building on that momentum moving forth. And I think that the WNBA's future is in great hands. I think that the sport, you know, the popularity of it has grown exponentially. I was able to meet Maya Moore a couple of years ago. And one of the few times that I got kind of like starstruck, you know what I'm saying? Maya Moore was absolutely must-see TV when she was playing at UConn.
One of the goats.
Personally, it's her and Cheryl Swoops. That's my goal of the WNBA. But you know, to see where the sport is at now, it is amazing to see, and I hope to see more, you know, young women playing basketball, because, you know, you're seeing so many amazing, and especially young Black women. You're seeing so many young Black women who are becoming stars, who have, you know, this charisma that's just, you know, unapologetically themselves. It's amazing to see, and it's important to support.
Absolutely. We're going to have you back on the show again. Sorry we're short on time this day. I hear the music. BacSpin. Welcome back. Welcome back, BacSpin.
Yes, sir. Welcome back. Sir.
And the award, congratulations. Congratulations on getting a vote. You get the vote for the BET Awards, correct?
Yes. They tapped me to vote for the winners of the BET Awards. It was 2 phases. The first phase was voting to who you wanted to get nominated. And then after all the nominations went in, the second phase was to vote on who you wanted the award to go to. So it's about 22, 23 categories I had to choose from, or sort through, I should say, to pick what artists I thought should win the BET Awards. And I'm looking for the award show. I believe it's the last week of June, and I'm just looking to see if my choice is gonna win these awards. But I'm super excited to be able to do that.
And let us know.
We know that Drake got a couple votes.
Yeah, Drizzy got a couple. K-Dot got a couple as well.
Okay.
I was mad about the best hip hop category, the best artist, because J. Cole was not a part of those nominations, and I just couldn't understand why.
Did he drop any? He ain't dropped nothing, did he?
I mean, not really, but I don't know. I just still feel like the features that he did last year, you know, should have garnered him at least being on the ballot. And it wasn't even on the ballot to be nominated. So, in my opinion, J. Cole is the best rapper alive right now. That's
Oh wow! Ooh man, you come out firing up, man. Oh man, you got that, man. You got the records ready. You got the board, the turntables ready to go. So we're gonna let you do your thing, and we're gonna be talking sports of all sorts next week at the same time. Remember, everybody, to be a good sport. And sounds like from Willie Sports, Willie said, "Hey, Sador may get traded to the Cowboys. You never know. Jerry may want a new toy."
You should have drafted him. I don't want to hear that. You should have drafted him then if that was the case. But I thank you, fellas. I'm looking forward to the football season coming up. Looking forward to our real deal football pick or football fantasy football that off last season. So I'm ready for it to go down in season 2 for us. And you know, great day to have some great music, fellas. Enjoyed the show today. Appreciate y'all.
Much love, BacSpin.
Have a great week. And remember to be a good sport.
Yes, indeed. Keep it where you need it. Rock City on the way. It's the Back in Time Mix Show right here on the Beat 105.5.